In this bizarre and unsettling video, absolute chaos erupts at an airport baggage claim when dozens of crabs break loose, scuttling wildly across a conveyor belt. The surreal scene leaves passengers stunned as their suitcases arrive covered in a tangle of claws and legs, making it nearly impossible to grab their belongings without getting pinched. Frustration builds as travelers hesitate, unsure whether to reclaim their luggage or let the crabs have it. Meanwhile, airport staff scramble to contain the unexpected crustacean invasion, trying to round them up and restore order. It's safe to say that someone seriously needs a lesson in how to properly pack live seafood before their next flight. A couple of men casually stroll through the customs checkpoint, acting like they have nothing to hide. But little did the officers know, something sinister is at play. The question is, will they catch on in time? When security stops one of the men for a routine check, his luggage comes up clean, but something feels off. The officer's instincts kick in, and they take a closer look, specifically at the man's suspiciously bulky wig. With one swift motion, the officer peels back the wig, and out tumbles a small, tightly wrapped package. It's gold. Pure, smuggled gold. Just when things couldn't get any more bizarre, they turn to his accomplice, whose wig is literally glued to his head. Sure enough, another hidden stash of gold is tucked beneath it. By the end of the search, 3 solid pieces of raw gold are displayed in front of the officers. But the surprises don't stop there. Turns out, these guys weren't just hiding gold under their wigs. A closer inspection reveals wads of cash stashed under their fake hair and even more tucked inside their socks. It looks like they weren't just 2 unlucky smugglers caught in the act. This could be part of a much larger operation. Airports are generally seen as secure thanks to strict security protocols, surveillance systems, and a strong law enforcement presence. But even with these precautions, chaos can still erupt, whether due to theft, security breaches, or sheer panic. Unfortunately, misunderstandings or sudden escalations can turn a routine travel day into a dangerous situation. If you ever find yourself caught in a stampede, the best course of action is to stay low, move diagonally away from the surge, avoid falling at all costs, and seek immediate shelter or a safe zone. In this intense video, however, fear takes a back seat as the crowd fights relentlessly for their spot on the plane. The exact details of what led to this frenzy remain unclear, but judging by the sheer desperation of the passengers, something major must have sparked this chaos. Even security personnel are powerless to contain the wave of people breaking through, further underscoring the intensity of the situation. After a routine stop at the security checkpoint, a customs officer gives a passenger a knowing look and asks him to come clean. What's he hiding? The young man hesitates but starts unpacking his bag, moving painfully slowly under the watchful eyes of the officers. They grow impatient and urge him to hurry up. Is he just stalling for time?
यूरो पॉइंट मैडम क्या कर रहे हैं आप मैडम अकाउंटेंट
ऑफिस में काम करती हूँ।
कौन से ऑफिस में काम?
At first glance, his luggage looks normal, but something isn't adding up. An officer unzips the inner lining, searching for anything out of place, till nothing. But they aren't giving up that easily. Then, bingo. One officer peels back the very last layer of fabric and suddenly reveals wads of cash carefully stashed, 50-pound notes, bundles of cash hidden in the seams. Whatever game this guy was playing, it's over now. When turbulence hits, the best thing you can do is stay seated, keep your seatbelt fastened, stay calm, and follow the crew's instructions. But sometimes, no amount of preparation can ease the sheer terror of a sudden violent jolt mid-flight. In this unsettling video, passengers are completely at the mercy of the turbulence, unable to do anything but brace themselves. The cabin fills with panicked voices, some praying, others making desperate calls to their loved ones, gripped by fear as the aircraft shakes unpredictably. Turbulence occurs due to irregular air movement caused by factors like severe weather, jet streams, mountain waves, or shifts in air pressure. While it's usually harmless, the intensity of this situation suggests something far more serious. As of now, there's no update on the status of those on board, leaving the fate of the flight uncertain. A high-stakes undercover drama unfolds as Nigeria's drug enforcement agents pull off a game-changing bust on the Okini-Lokoja-Abuja Expressway. What starts as a routine bus search quickly escalates into something much bigger. Officers uncover a staggering $4.8 million in cash, 175 grams of heroin, and a massive $57 million CFA in suspected counterfeit money. But the story doesn't end there. Just days later, at Abuja Airport, 2 traffickers are busted with heroin hidden inside their bodies. The shocking discovery sets off a chain reaction, leading authorities straight to a major drug cartel. The investigation tracks all the way to South Africa, where notorious drug kingpin Hakeem Babatunde Salami is found hiding out in luxury. His lavish lifestyle crumbles in an instant. His fleet of high-end cars is seized, his home sealed off, and his empire dismantled. Turns out both busts were connected, each suspect linked back to the same cartel. But despite the massive takedown, justice isn't as swift as expected. Thanks to loopholes in the system, the so-called drug lord gets a light slap on the wrist. Just 2 years with an option of a fine for some charges, and 8 months without a fine for others. With convictions like these, one has to wonder how many more will slip through the cracks. In a heart-stopping moment at the airport, an out-of-control vehicle spirals wildly across the tarmac, leaving workers scrambling to regain control. The chaotic scene unfolds as the rogue vehicle careens dangerously close to a parked aircraft, turning what started as a bizarre mishap into a serious safety hazard. With every second counting, a quick-thinking worker takes matters into their own hands, jumping into another vehicle and deliberately crashing it into the runaway car. The bold move works, bringing the spinning vehicle to an abrupt halt just in time.
Hit the airplane, here it goes.
As the dust settles, a wave of relief washes over the onlookers. Passengers watching from the terminal erupt into cheers, recognizing the workers' fast reflexes and quick problem solving that prevented what could have been a major disaster. This was definitely not the kind of passenger custom officers were expecting to deal with. As they go through routine security checks at a Dubai airport, they stop a suspicious-looking young man for inspection. But what they find, and what he boldly admits, immediately throws them off guard. When asked about the bizarre tools in his bag, the man doesn't hesitate. With zero hesitation, he calmly declares, "I'm a contract killer." The officers stare at him, momentarily stunned. Maybe they misheard, maybe he's joking, but no. He doubles down, making it crystal clear that he's dead serious. To prove his point, he casually picks up one of the tools from his bag and demonstrates how it can be used to choke someone to death. At this point, the officers are no longer just confused, they're alarmed. What was supposed to be a standard baggage check has turned into something far more sinister. Climate change is finally getting the attention it deserves, with international agreements, advancements in renewable energy, stricter regulations, and a growing wave of public awareness pushing for real solutions. As the conversation around climate action intensifies, so do the efforts of activist groups determined to make a difference. Unfortunately, some of these groups resort to reckless and destructive tactics that do more harm than good. Take for example the activists who have turned to vandalizing airports, actions that not only disrupt countless travelers but also come with severe legal consequences, including hefty fines, long prison sentences, and costly restitution for damages. Despite knowing the risks, they still believe that causing chaos will somehow generate support for their cause. In reality, stunts like these often backfire, turning public opinion against them rather than sparking meaningful change. It's disheartening to see activism take such an unproductive turn when there are so many more effective and responsible ways to fight for a better future. Hopefully, they realize soon that real progress is built on constructive action, not destruction. This footage is wild. Literally, imagine being a customs officer doing a routine luggage check when suddenly a bag starts moving. Not just shifting slightly, really moving. Then comes the eerie, unmistakable hissing sound. Something alive is inside, and it's not happy. Security wastes no time and seizes the bag, preparing for the worst. But even they aren't ready for what they find when they unzip it. Snakes. And not just any snakes, huge, deadly, venomous ones. Turns out the passenger was attempting to smuggle exotic and highly dangerous snakes into the state of Georgia. Trained professionals are immediately called in to safely handle the reptiles, checking their health and making sure they're not harmed. But one thing's for sure, this is one wild discovery that no one at the airport saw coming. You won't believe what this passenger tried to sneak past customs. Something so disturbing it had officers shaking. A routine baggage check takes a terrifying turn when customs officials unzip a woman's luggage and find plastic containers filled with live snakes. She had just landed in Chennai, India, arriving from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia, but her plans to smuggle these reptiles were quickly crushed. The footage reveals multiple snake species, some of which could have posed a serious risk to passengers if they had managed to escape mid-flight. And as if that wasn't enough, officers discover a live chameleon hidden among the serpents. After a thorough search, the final count is 22 snakes, all very much alive, and one very stressed out lizard. One thing's for sure, this is not the kind of emotional support animal airlines allow on board. A traveler discreetly starts recording when they notice the woman next to them getting aggressive with a bartender. Her threats escalate, and sensing the situation could take a turn for the worse, they decide to capture the incident.
Excuse me?
No, don't get into, please. Come on.
I will kill you when you stay.
Before long, airport security is called in to intervene. As officers approach, the woman attempts to plead her case, but her erratic behavior only fuels the tension. Instead of de-escalating, she digs in, resisting arrest and making an even bigger scene. When she refuses to walk on her own, the officers have no choice but to carry her out, drawing even more attention from stunned onlookers.
I can carry you or you can walk.
It's safe to say this woman can't handle her liquor and probably shouldn't be anywhere near a bar anytime soon. A customs officer thought it was just another routine baggage check until he got the shock of his life. Here's the moment officials at Shanghai Airport uncovered 121 endangered snakes stuffed into a suitcase. The slippery smuggler behind it all, he boldly claimed they were just toy snakes when questioned by officers.
To a particularly slippery smuggler who claimed that they were just toy snakes when officers asked to look in.
But when his luggage was flagged in the X-ray scanner, the truth slithered out. As an officer picked up one of the plastic containers, he immediately dropped it in horror because inside were real, live snakes, writhing and tangled inside black stockings. After a thorough search, officials counted 121 endangered ball pythons, a species known for curling into a ball when frightened. It turns out this smuggling operation had a long journey. The snakes were first shipped from Seattle to Hong Kong by air cargo before the trafficker attempted to move them into Shanghai, likely to smuggle them elsewhere. If he thought he could slither past security, he was dead wrong. In the middle of a hectic airport, chaos erupts as a blonde woman frantically screams for help, accusing someone of stealing her headphones. Desperate and enraged, she points directly at a girl she believes took them. At first, many dismiss her as just another dramatic traveler causing a scene, but she's not wrong. As tensions rise, the accused girl suddenly makes a break for it, and in the process, the stolen headphones drop to the floor. That's all the proof the blonde woman needs. Without hesitation, she takes off after the fleeing thief, determined to reclaim what's rightfully hers. Imagine being in her shoes. What would you do if someone swiped your belongings right in front of you? At first glance, it looked like a routine security check, a pregnant woman being searched by customs officers. But within moments, it became clear that this wasn't a pregnancy at all. Straight out of a movie-style bust, an officer presses her against the wall for inspection. Suspicious, they take a closer look at her baby bump, and then the truth unravels. With a quick peel and reveal, the fake belly comes right off, exposing packets of cocaine carefully stashed inside. The officer holds up the prosthetic bump and the drugs, a total of 2 kilograms of cocaine. For the camera, it was a bold attempt, but she wasn't fooling anyone. The COVID-19 pandemic unleashed global fear, not just because of its rapid spread, but also due to the uncertainty surrounding the virus and the strain it placed on healthcare systems and economies. While the fear was justified, it also sparked extreme reactions and unsettling situations, some of which were caught on camera, like in this chilling video. The footage captures a sobering reality: healthcare workers and airport security personnel waiting at an airport to receive passengers infected with COVID-19. Dressed in full protective gear, they stand ready, embodying the stark contrast between duty and dread. For many, this scene was an everyday occurrence, a grim reminder of how the pandemic transformed air travel and daily life. It's unsettling to think that for some, this was just another arrival, but for others, it was the start of an uncertain and frightening journey. On Saturday, November 5th, Schiphol Airport in Amsterdam became the stage for a bold environmental protest. Over 100 activists dressed in white suits stormed the private jet area, determined to make their message heard. Some blocked departing aircraft by sitting directly in front of their wheels, while others rode bicycles across the tarmac in a dramatic display of defiance. The demonstration was part of a larger movement organized by Greenpeace and Extinction Rebellion, aiming to call out the aviation industry for its role in greenhouse gas emissions and environmental pollution.
Honderden activisten vandaag van Extinction Rebellion en Greenpeace hier om privéjets aan de grond te houden.
Despite the chaos unfolding in the private jet section, commercial flights remained unaffected, avoiding any major disruptions. Whether or not their message will lead to change remains to be seen, but one thing is clear: we as activists weren't afraid to take their protest straight to the runway.
You guys messed up my flight ticket.
What's going on?
They messed up my flight ticket. I asked for an aisle. They gave me a middle seat. How is that my problem?
Bodycam footage obtained by police cam encounters captures the dramatic moment a woman was arrested at Salt Lake City International Airport after allegedly causing a major disturbance on a flight. The situation got so out of hand that the airline had no choice but to deplane all passengers just to safely remove her. By the time police arrived at the gate, she was already in a heated argument with an airline supervisor. Her ticket had been refunded and her flying privileges revoked. But she wasn't going quietly. Authorities say when officers instructed her to leave the airport, she flat out refused.
Because I already boarded the plane.
Okay, so we'll figure out from them what's going on.
Okay, we'll figure out because
right now, hey,
well.
we're here for like your behavior, okay?
My behavior?
Yeah.
Okay, I got a plane for the aisle seat. They gave me an E, which is a middle seat.
Right.
That is not what I paid for.
You have your ID?
What does that have to do with anything?
Right now the police are here. We're going to find out the who, the why, the what. So I just need to know
Okay,
who
well,
you
you
are.
better.
Yeah. Okay. Right, So on your side, you requested a seat, you didn't get that seat, and now that's what I'm trying. Like, we're here. Did you walk off the plane? They say, like, let's get off the plane. Are you flying anymore?
I'm going to Alaska. I'm going to Seattle, and then I'm going to Alaska.
Quick. All right.
No, I'm trying to listen to you.
You don't need to right now.
I need to. It's my privilege.
Good, it's your privilege.
Okay, thank you. So don't tell me what I cannot and cannot do.
Sit down. Now.
No, I would like to hear what people are saying.
Just have a seat.
You can have a conversation.
I am allowed to hear what they are
You can right
saying.
there, 'cause I'm going to catch up with you.
Okay.
How is that thin ice? What have I done?
Well, they're trying to work.
What have I
Double check.
done?
Now go with me.
You have no idea.
Go for me like you see John.
They have tried to work with me by taking me off the plane.
Conference. Just can you say, do you have a decision here?
Well, ask them. Ask them.
That's why Officer Cross, listen to me. He's going to go.
What have I done on the plane?
Well,
I would like to ask you what I have done on the plane.
I listened to your side, and I listened to their
I'm not
side.
asking you about my side. I'm asking you what I have done on the plane. Did I touch someone? Did I touch someone?
So what's your name,
Please
Jacqueline?
explain it. Have I spoken to Did I touch someone?
Okay, here's the
Please
deal.
tell me if I've spoken to someone and I've touched someone.
Okay, so
Listen to him. Ask him that question.
all right, Jacqueline, we're gonna
Ask him.
You're gonna be escorted
I don't
out.
live
Delta's
here.
not flying.
I live in New York.
Good. Okay. Delta.
Dude, who's paying for my ticket?
You're gonna have to. You got refunded.
I got refunded
Let's go.
to live in Utah?
Jacqueline. Okay. We're gonna walk out because you
I
are
don't
not a
live
Delta
here.
passenger.
I don't know anyone here.
You're
If
not a
anything,
Delta
I need to get a
passenger now.
ride back to New York.
Okay. We'll walk you out to where the other airlines are. Okay.
Dude, I don't live here.
Things escalated when she yanked her ID out of an officer's hand and resisted their attempts to take her into custody. Even as they tried to arrest her, she reportedly refused to comply, refusing to put her hands behind her back.
Okay, well then get my refund and refund me a ticket back
I
to
don't
New
know.
York.
It's gonna go to your credit card. I clearly
Okay,
don't
well
have
that's
your
on
credit
you
card.
then.
Jacqueline, let's start walking
No,
out.
that's so up.
Jacqueline?
You cannot do that.
Jacqueline?
They told me I would get an aisle.
Jacqueline?
All right, dude,
Okay,
give me
please,
my-
wait, come here.
Give
come
me
here.
my. I don't
Okay.
do.
Let's go tennis.
Stop!
Here, hands behind your back.
Stop!
Hands behind your back. Now. Hands
Stop!
behind your back.
Stop!
Hands behind your back.
Stop! I don't live in Utah.
Stop resisting. Hands behind your
I
back.
don't
Hands
live
behind
in
your back.
Utah.
Hands behind your
I
back.
don't
Stop resisting.
live
Hands
in-
behind your back.
Ow, I live in
Stop
Utah.
resisting. Stop resisting. Hands behind your back.
I don't
Gotcha.
live in
Stop
Utah.
resisting.
I don't live in Utah.
Now she's facing multiple charges stemming from the wild encounter. The sniffer dog picked up a scent, but something didn't add up. It circled the lorry, sniffing frantically, yet there was no one in sight. Border Customs had stopped the suspicious vehicle for inspection, and when the dog signaled the presence of humans, officers prepared for a routine check. But when they opened the back of the lorry, there was nothing but cargo, no sign of anyone inside. Still, the dog wouldn't stop. It turned its attention to the bottom of another trailer, barking and scratching at the wooden pallets stacked underneath. That's when the officers took a closer look and their jaws dropped. Hidden between the tightly packed pallets, a haggard-looking man slowly crawled out, blinking at the daylight, but he wasn't alone. As officers dug deeper, more people emerged, crammed into the tiny space beneath the trailer. Desperate and exhausted, it was a risky and dangerous attempt, but they had just been caught. We've all had our fair share of frustrating airport experiences, long lines, delayed flights, and helpful customer service, but for this woman, the stress got the best of her, and she completely lost it. In a shocking display of rage, she disrupted the peace by throwing a full-blown tantrum, damaging equipment and harassing airport staff. Airports take this kind of behavior seriously, and causing a scene like this can lead to some pretty hefty consequences: arrest, fines, charges, and even potential jail time. The Despite her outburst, security wasted no time stepping in, quickly escorting her out before things could escalate further. Safe to say, this isn't the kind of airport meltdown that gets you a free upgrade, just a fast track to serious trouble. Flight attendants are known for their grace and charm, but customs officers, they don't fall for appearances. Something felt off about this one, and they were about to find out why. As passengers disembarked from New Delhi-Hong Kong flight, customs officers made their way on board. Their target, a particular air hostess. She remained calm as they approached, cooperating fully, giving them her name and answering their questions without hesitation. But when they opened her suitcase, the mood shifted. Wads of foreign currency carefully wrapped in tin foil sat hidden among her belongings.
आपका बैग किधर है मैडम?
बैग अपना बैग
लिया मतलब आपके पास भी है क्या बैग तो है बैग ही पूछ रहा मैं
The officers continued their search, unwrapping bundle after bundle, stacking the cash in plain view, and it wasn't a small amount. She may have kept her cool, but there was no denying the evidence. Despite her cooperation, she had just been caught smuggling foreign currency into the country. A father's carry-on bag hides a disturbing secret, and the officer is stunned. As passengers make their way through airport security, one man is pulled aside after the X-ray scanner picks up something unusual. His bag? It's a child's carry-on. The officer, already suspicious, begins unpacking the bag. And that's when things take a turn. Inside the transparent package are items that instantly raise eyebrows. The officer pauses, her expression shifting from confusion to disbelief. Inappropriate adult-themed toys. That's what he was hiding, inside his child's bag. The revelation leaves the officer stunned. The man turns red with embarrassment as his friends burst into laughter, clearly enjoying his humiliation. But for the officer, there's nothing funny about it. Most airlines allow rabbits on board, but there are strict policies. They're usually requiring them to be in a carrier, either it's a carry-on or in cargo. When airport officials explain this to one particular traveler, he doesn't take it well. What starts as a simple policy discussion quickly spirals into chaos, with voices rising and tempers flaring. Just when it seems like things can't get any worse, the man takes it to another level. Instead of complying, he escalates the situation, making threats against airport staff. That's a surefire way to land in serious legal trouble. Threatening airport officials can lead to immediate arrest, criminal charges, hefty fines, and even jail time under strict aviation security laws. But it could have been a minor inconvenience turns into a full-blown disaster, all because of unchecked anger. Safe to say, this is not how you want to handle an issue in an airport. Gold smuggling gone wrong. Passenger busted at Chennai Airport. On January 25th, Chennai Airport saw more than just routine arrivals. Among the sea of passengers stepping off flight EK544 from Dubai, one man thought he could blend in, but customs officers had their eyes on him. As he passed through, officers moved in for a thorough search, and what they uncovered was astonishing. 340 grams of gold hidden on his body, worth a jaw-dropping 66 lakh, around $89,093.33, along with 82 lakh in cash. This wasn't just some harmless mistake. This was a serious smuggling operation. The man was immediately arrested, and what started as a routine bust quickly turned into a high-stakes investigation. What starts as a scenic tour flight quickly turns into a nightmare for this group of tourists. They're high above the ground, enjoying the breathtaking views and filming their experience until disaster strikes. Without warning, the small plane suffers a critical malfunction and panic sets in. pilot, now in a race against time, stays remarkably composed as he desperately scans for a safe place to land. With every second that passes, the altitude drops and its options dwindle. A busy roadway is out of the question, packed with cars that would turn an emergency landing into a catastrophe. With no other choice, he makes a daring move. Inside the plane, chaos erupts. Passengers are screaming, crying, and bracing for impact as the aircraft hurtles toward the ground. The sheer terror in their voices captures the intensity of the moment. This is the kind of life or death situation no one ever expects to find themselves in. Then, the moment of impact. Miraculously, despite the crash landing, everyone on board makes it out alive and unharmed. A terrifying ordeal with an incredible outcome, a true testament to the pilot's skill under pressure. Chaos broke out at Will Rogers International Airport when officers were called to deal with a woman who was allegedly trying to board a plane while visibly intoxicated, giving ticket agents a hard time in the process. When police arrived, it didn't take long to confirm what witnesses have reported. The woman was unsteady on her feet, swaying as she walked, and her slurred speech made it clear she had had more than a few.
You've been denied flight today. You need
Okay, I understand I've been denied
Okay, let me finish
flight.
the sentence.
Then please finish the sentence.
You've been denied flight. You need to leave the airport property. You're not a flying passenger at this point.
I am not a flying passenger and I need to leave
Yes,
the
ma'am.
airport at this time. Okay.
Okay? Do you have an Uber or a Lyft app?
I do, and I will open that as soon as I'm allowed to leave, which is what I thought I was doing
is
through
down
that
here,
way.
ma'am. The exit. We're taking you right to the exit.
Please, I just don't know why I'm not allowed to fly.
Because you're...
I know why I'm not allowed to fly. It's because
Right here. Go.
do not touch my.
Go.
Do not touch me.
Ma'am. Exit the airport.
Don't touch me.
Exit the airport. Keep walking. Keep walking.
I am walking.
Okay, you
This
can't
is
stop in
continue-
here.
I am not stopping. You're pushing me.
Ma'am,
You're pushing
the
me.
automatic doors will close on you. Go over here to the escalator.
So glad that you can tell me where to go. So glad that you can tell me where
That's their job. No dramatic.
Okay. Hold on to the rail.
I don't have any baggage. I don't have
Hold
any
on
baggage.
to the rail for me.
I don't have any baggage.
Pull
I don't
away
have
from
any
me.
baggage. I don't need to go down there. I don't have any baggage.
That's where people pick you up.
I don't have baggage.
Get on
They
your
are
Uber
not
laugh.
picking me up anymore.
Listen to me. Go outside.
You're putting your hands
Go
on me.
outside.
Things only got worse when officers tried to reason with her. She quickly turned uncooperative, dragging her feet, literally refusing to walk, and making it as difficult as possible for them to escort her out.
Okay, I need you to call a friend or Uber or Lyft.
Call for a ride so you don't have to go to jail.
Okay, I will do that because I don't need to go to jail because reporting
Listen to me.
equals go to jail.
You're
I
drunk.
have a ride on the way.
You
I
didn't-
already have it on the way.
Call him.
It's my husband. He's already on
Okay,
the way.
call him. I want to see how far out he is.
Well, you don't really get to choose how far
Ma'am?
out he is.
I get to choose whether you go to jail or you go home with your husband. So my
Okay, then
suggestion
choose I go to
is-
jail because I have lawyers. Please, and choose I
You're
go to
drunk.
jail. Please, choose I go
You're
to jail.
drunk. Okay, I need you to call a friend or Uber or Lyft.
Call for a ride so you don't have to go to jail.
Okay, I will do that because I don't need to go to jail because reporting
Listen to me.
equals go to jail.
You're
I
drunk.
have a ride on the way.
You
I
didn't-
already
let me
have it
see-
on the
call
way.
him. Call him.
It's my husband. He's already on
Okay,
the way.
call him. I want to see how far out he is.
Well, you don't really get to choose how far
Ma'am?
out he is.
I get to choose whether you go to jail or you go home with your husband. So
Okay,
my
then
suggestion
choose I go to
is-
jail because I have lawyers. Please, and choose I
You're
go to jail.
drunk.
Please, choose I go
You're
to jail.
drunk.
With no other option, officers had to physically remove her, placing her under arrest for public drunkenness.
Do you really want to do that?
No, choose that. Seriously, I have lawyers.
Call
Do you
your
really
husband.
want to do that though?
No, I don't, but I know that you don't want to do it either. So
Stand up.
Sergeant
Stand up.
Holmes.
You want to go to jail? We'll go to jail.
Get your hands.
Come on.
Like a human being. Then turn me around.
You're not
Then
acting-
turn me around. Then turn me around.
You're not cooperating.
Around.
You're not cooperating.
Around. Turn me around. Give me a wheelchair. Please turn me around. Please just turn me around.
You're gonna sit down.
I will turn it. I will sit down. Just.
Put your foot right up there.
Yeah, sure,
Right there.
sure. Absolutely.
What started as a bad airport experience ended with a trip she definitely hadn't planned, a ride to jail. Airports are supposed to be safe zones during wartime, protected under international humanitarian law, but as history has shown, those rules aren't always followed. This footage from an airport in western Ukraine is a grim reminder of that reality. Despite regulations meant to keep civilian infrastructure off limits, airports are often targeted to cripple an enemy's logistics, transportation, and supply chains. In this case, the strike may have been meant to disrupt operations, but its impact extends far beyond the battlefield. It's the innocent civilians who suffer the most. As the missile strikes, a massive explosion engulfs the airport, turning what could have been a vital evacuation point into a raging inferno. Onlookers can do nothing but stand, watching helplessly as the flames consume the building. In war, devastation like this is far too common, and once the fire starts, there is no undoing the damage. Endless cash? This airport bust left officers stunned. When customs officers seized the suspicious young man's bag, they had no idea they were about to uncover a bottomless pit of mystery. Determined to get to the truth, they tore the bag apart, feeling around for anything out of place. Their persistence paid off when they hit something unusual. One by one, they started pulling out stacks of $100 bills. At first, it seemed like a small stash, but as the cash kept coming, the pile on the table grew bigger and bigger. By the time they were done, the entire table was covered in smuggled dollars. Was this money laundering? Was it stolen cash? One thing was clear: this wasn't just a casual case of forgotten pocket change. Imagine you're working as a receptionist at an airport, handling the usual routine of checking in passengers and answering questions. It's a pretty calm job until it's not. Out of nowhere, a deafening crash shatters the quiet. You turn your head just in time to see a truck, yes, a whole truck, bursting through the wall and barreling straight toward you. Chaos erupts as workers scramble out of the way, bracing for impact. Miraculously, the driver avoids hitting anyone, and the runaway vehicle finally comes to a stop against the counter, sparing the employees behind it. Talk about an entrance. Let's just hope the driver wasn't planning on checking in his truck as carry-on. For the stunned airport staff, this is definitely a moment they'll never forget. These slippers were hiding more than just comfort. At first glance, they looked like an ordinary pair of sandals, but something about them felt off. Bangalore customs officers stopped a passenger arriving from Bangkok when they noticed his slippers were unusually heavy. A closer inspection confirmed their suspicions. Something was hidden inside. Carefully, they peeled open the back of the sandals, and what they found was shocking. Gold bars tucked neatly inside. After weighing the smuggled gold, it came to a whopping 1.2 kilograms. Officers ran tests and confirmed its authenticity. A simple pair of slippers? Not quite. This passenger was walking through the airport with a fortune at his feet. We all know the drill. Place your bags on the conveyor belt, walk through security, and hope you didn't accidentally leave a bottle of water inside. But for this guy, a simple bag check turned into a full-blown airport lockdown. As his bag passed through the scanner, TSA agents quickly realized something wasn't right. What they found inside? A handgun. And just like that, alarms blared, security swarmed, and the entire airport went on high alert. Bringing a firearm into an airport, especially in a carry-on, is a serious offense. Depending on the circumstances, it can lead to hefty fines, immediate arrest, and even criminal charges.
All I know is you ain't getting nowhere, boy.
Authorities take no chances when it comes to security threats, and this guy learned that the hard way. Luckily, he was caught before he could even get near the plane. Just a reminder, always check your bag before heading to the airport. You don't want to be the reason for a security shutdown. Chilling CCTV footage captures the moment a woman in a black hoodie gets dropped off in front of an airport. At first, nothing seems out of the ordinary. She calmly steps out of the vehicle and walks inside, blending in with the other travelers. But what happens next turns the entire airport into a scene of chaos. Without warning, she pulls out a handgun and starts firing. Panic erupts as passengers and employees drop to the ground, scrambling for cover as bullets rip through the air. Within seconds, airport security spots the threat and springs into action. Before she can cause any harm, officers take aim and fire. The shooter, identified as Portia Odefua, is quickly neutralized, hitting the ground after being shot. Thanks to the swift and decisive response from security, a potential tragedy is averted, and miraculously, no innocent bystanders are harmed. What started as a supposed joke turned into a serious legal nightmare for one woman at Fort Lauderdale Hollywood International Airport. On February 28, 2023, Broward Sheriff's Office deputies arrested her after she allegedly made a false bomb threat, a comment she later brushed off as just a joke. Unfortunately for her, airport security doesn't take bomb threats lightly, no matter the intent.
She's twisting
They just
what I
checked her
said.
like 1,000 times.
I said the way y'all searched me. Why didn't you say every
Just calm down, Bubba. Just calm down.
Because she was
They know. She know that.
What happened?
Okay, so first of all, I didn't know that she was a 2ID. So she came through, which is, no identification. We have to process them anyway. They check her bags here. When they check inside her bags, it alarms. So once it alarms, we have to finish our procedures, which was including a pat down and check her bags.
Okay.
So since we had to check her bags, she had to get a pat down. During the pat down, she was doing several movements and stuff. I told her, listen, you got to stop doing all that because we got to pat you down regardless. So then it was like, oh, y'all looking for stuff, the drugs in my this and that. I'm like, whoa, what you talking about? We don't even search for drugs. Then it's like, oh, they missed the bomb in my bag. They missed the bomb in my bag. And I'm like, yo, and then there's several passengers that was here as well that heard it. So, I mean,
when they were searching, she just searched her like from top to bottom.
The young lady named Central, she's doing she got her statement.
You want to? Obviously, I spoke to the TSA supervisor. What's your version? She was
They
able to pat
had a
down.
nasty attitude already since over there, and we were arguing and going back and forth. Her ego was bruised. Now, if I said all this while you pat me down, I have a bomb, this and this, why would you let me walk away if that's what I said?
Exactly.
Come on, her ego is bruised, though, and that's my fault.
You're right, but also it's not their job to grab and hold.
But no. While you patting me down, you could have stopped the pat down if I said I had a bomb in my blood. You see what I'm saying?
So what do you
So we
think
got
she
into
heard?
an
What's the
argument.
here? What do you think?
We got into an argument.
Over the
And-
pat down.
Not over the pat down, over the lady just coming over there trying to fake the fuse, but you're making it worse because who are you talking to? You're not my mom. I don't care. So she going back and forth. We exchange words as I'm walking away. Oh, call them. Call the police. To stop us because my cousin already said we have a fight to catch. She's trying to be funny. When my no residue, she said if residue comes back positive again, then they're gonna have to whatever she said. Yeah, and I said, well, if I had a bomb in my they found it by now. Don't you think?
That's what she said. She never said nothing about having a bomb.
Right, and that's why I'm saying she's trying to put his kid on it because her ego's bruised.
Right now we're just waiting for our sergeant to show up and we'll go from there.
Oh, yeah, because her friend kept joking. She was just fine.
So, and what did you hear her say?
We missed the bomb in her bag.
Alright, here's the... She's writing out a statement. Alright, based on what she heard, and you are going to be arrested for that.
Arrested for what?
Making a...
I did not make a threat. That is not
making
true,
a statement regarding a bomb in your bag.
What might have seemed like a harmless remark quickly escalated into a full-blown incident, leading to her arrest. This case serves as a stark reminder that when it comes to airport security, there's no such thing as a just kidding moment. At the airport on October 16, 2023, an unsuspecting traveler stepped off a flight from Ras Al Khaimah, completely unaware that he was already on officials' radar. Customs officers had been watching closely, and as soon as he set foot in the terminal, they moved in. At first glance, he seemed like any other passenger, but a thorough search quickly revealed something far from ordinary. His pants were hiding a golden secret. Tucked away in the fabric was 175 grams of gold dust, carefully concealed yet no match for the sharp eyes of airport authorities. The precious metal, valued at a jaw-dropping 1,082,000 rupees, had been smuggled with expert precision. But the passenger's clever trick wasn't enough to slip past security. His plan unraveled in an instant, turning what had seemed like a smooth arrival into a dramatic bust. Imagine stepping off a long flight, exhausted but relieved to be back on solid ground. As you shuffle through customs, you notice a fellow passenger carrying what looks like an ordinary packet of dry fruits. Nothing unusual, right? But something about him seems off. Before you can put your finger on it, customs officers swoop in, stopping him for a closer look. A routine check quickly turns into a jaw-dropping revelation. Hidden among the so-called snacks are 40 precisely cut pieces of gold, weighing a solid 254 grams and worth over 15 lakh rupees. But the surprises don't stop there. Tucked away with a stash is an iPhone 14 Pro Max, nearly 1.5 lakh rupees in value. The air is thick with tension as the officers expose the elaborate smuggling attempt. What started as an everyday moment at customs suddenly transforms into high-stakes uncovering of concealed riches. Turns out not everything is as it seems, especially when golden gadgets are disguised as travel snacks. We've all seen our fair share of airport meltdowns, public freakouts that range from mildly embarrassing to downright disturbing. And yet, no matter how many times we witness these outbursts, they never fail to send a chill down my spine.
God damn it! Who does that to a woman like me? No! 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 Get me out of this thing!
There's something unsettling about watching someone lose complete control, screaming and raging in a public space over an inconvenience. It's a stark reminder how quick people are to lash out instead of handling problems rationally.
What? Get me out of here! Get me out of here!
It's not just about frustration, it speaks to a deeper issue, a growing lack of patience, empathy, and emotional control in today's world. In this particular video, the woman at the center of the meltdown eventually storms off, though it's unclear why. Maybe she realized she wasn't getting her way, or maybe she just needed a dramatic exit to complete the scene. Either way, it's another addition to the ever-growing collection of airport tantrums that leave us all shaking our heads. Imagine stepping off a plane from Bangkok, tired but ready to get through customs, when you're suddenly caught in the middle of a scene straight out of an action thriller at Chennai International Airport. Customs officials are going about their usual checks when they stumble upon one very curious passenger. As they begin to open his bags, a tiny pair of wide-eyed marmosets peek out, looking a little too calm for comfort. But it doesn't stop there. As the search continues, a meerkat shoots out from the bag, followed by a squirming fat-tailed gerbil, scrambling to escape. And just when you think it couldn't get crazier, deeper in the luggage are the piercing glassy eyes of an albino Pac-Man frog, and the shifting colors of a chameleon trying to blend in. And then, hidden at the bottom, two iguanas lie completely still, almost like they're trying to play it cool. Each new discovery leaves the customs officers more and more stunned. What began as a routine inspection quickly turned into a wild, unforgettable encounter, a luggage search unlike any other. Flying can be nerve-wracking enough on its own, but imagine sitting in your seat waiting for takeoff when you glance out the window and see this happening. Someone climbing onto the wing of a commercial plane. Yeah, that's not exactly part of the usual pre-flight checklist. Not only is it insanely dangerous, with a risk of powerful jet engines, high-speed winds, and, falling off, but it's also a serious security breach. Anyone reckless enough to pull a stunt like this is looking at hefty fines, possible jail time, and a permanent ban from flying. One thing's for sure, for the passengers in this flight, this trip is already off to a very unexpected start. 1 minute you're just doing your usual shift at the reception desk, handling the usual flow of people and paperwork. Next, you're about to witness something straight out of a horror movie, and in HD no less.
Hello, Mel speaking. Hold on a second, what do you mean live snakes? Where? In her checked-in baggage?
It all starts when the head customs officer gets a tip that something suspicious has popped up on the x-ray machine. She's skeptical at first. Could it really be that bad? But when she heads over to the x-ray station to take a look for herself, her eyes widen in disbelief. There in the luggage are large live snakes curled up with several eggs tucked inside.
Although the passengers suggesting that she tried to help another passenger with excess baggage. Ultimately,
not wasting any time, she moves on to check the rest of the suspect's bags. To her shock, inside multiple boxes are tiny monkeys and kittens, all hidden away. It quickly becomes clear these poor creatures were likely meant to serve as meals for the snakes once they get hungry. Of course, the animals were immediately seized. They hadn't been declared, nor were they certified for transport. What started as a routine day at the office had turned into a shocking discovery that no one was prepared for. Flying can be stressful enough. Tight spaces, turbulence, delays, it's all part of the experience, but nothing makes it worse, quite like an unruly passenger turning the cabin into their personal stage for chaos. Whether it's shouting matches, aggressive behavior, or outright refusing to follow crew instructions, these troublemakers don't just make things awkward, they can create serious safety risks. That's why flight attendants are trained to de-escalate situations, using calm communication and conflict resolution techniques to keep things under control. As a passenger, the best thing you can do is stay out of it, follow the crew's instructions, let them handle the situation. Let's hope your next flight is free of these kinds of travelers. It all started with a quiet whisper in the shadows, just enough of a hint to send Mumbai's customs officers down a wild, unexpected path. They had their eyes on a mysterious parcel that had come all the way from Belgium. Hidden inside its cardboard shell, a jaw-dropping 1,459 grams of MDMA, worth an eye-watering 2 crore 70 lakh rupees. The officers didn't rush in. Instead, they blended seamlessly into the everyday hustle of the streets, hopping into auto rickshaws and quietly keeping an eye on their target for 2 whole days. Then, on the 3rd day, they knew the moment had arrived. The trap was set in the controlled chaos of Valparia's airport sorting office, and like clockwork, the suspect walked right into their net. What followed was a daring operation executed under the strict NDPS Act, proving not just the officers' sharp intelligence, but also the incredible courage of the Special Cargo Commissioner. It was a high-stakes takedown, and they pulled it off with precision and stealth. When you're on a plane, your biggest concern is usually turbulence or the exhaustion of a long-haul flight. But for these passengers, their nightmare took a shocking turn when the co-pilot of their flight pulled off something truly terrifying.
Your attention, please. This is a police operation. Please don't move. Stay relaxed and keep your hands on your head. The aircraft.
Mid-flight, the co-pilot took control of the aircraft, hijacking it from the primary pilot and diverting it to a completely different country. As panic set in among the passengers, the safest course of action was to stay calm, avoid drawing attention, and follow instructions, standard protocol in any hijacking situation. Authorities later speculated that the co-pilot's motive was to seek asylum in another country, making this one of the most bizarre and unsettling mid-air takeovers in aviation history. Looks can be deceiving, and this security check turned out to be anything but routine.
Terminal. Sniffer dog Badger is examining baggage arriving from the Caribbean. Customs dogs are possibly the most powerful tool in the fight against drugs.
As the luggage rolls through the security line, one of the trained dogs picks up on something strange. Its nose twitches, alerting the officers to a possible problem. They mark the bag and wait for its owner to claim it. When the woman finally steps forward to collect her luggage, they move in and politely ask her to step aside for a few questions and a search.
So that's probably what we're looking for. I'll quickly go and do this, quickly go and spike it, just make sure.
She unlocks her bag without hesitation, and the officer begins digging through her clothes, but finds nothing suspicious. That's when things get interesting. Something hidden within the casing catches their attention. Using a small pick, the officer carefully scrapes away at the bag and reveals a stash of white powder. A quick test confirms it. It's cocaine. What seemed like a routine check turned into a high-stakes bust, and the officer's persistence paid off. In a heart-stopping moment over Daegu, South Korea, just minutes before landing, a 30-year-old passenger does the unthinkable. He forces open the door of a moving airplane mid-flight. The sudden rush of wind sends shockwaves of chaos and panic through the cabin as passengers and crew scramble to process what just happened. Despite the terrifying ordeal, the plane lands safely, and authorities waste no time arresting the reckless individual. However, the trauma lingers. 12 people are treated for hyperventilation, a stark reminder how fragile in-flight safety can be. Thankfully, with seatbelts securely fastened, no one was seriously harmed, but this incident will no doubt leave an unforgettable mark on those aboard. A woman heading off on a short trip to Vietnam caught the attention of Australian border officers right away. On paper, she was living on a pension, yet here she was, traveling like someone with deep pockets. She claimed her boyfriend in Vietnam had helped foot the bill for the trip, which immediately raised some red flags.
And has very little money.
You pay for your holiday?
She claims her holiday was partly funded by her boyfriend, who lives in Vietnam.
Suspicious, the officers decided to give her a thorough search. What they found, however, was nothing they were expecting: a massive stash of seafood. But here's the twist: the fish was rotten, crawling with maggots, and definitely not something anyone would want to transport. Still, the system flagged her luggage for cocaine, so they kept digging.
Frozen? Yeah. It's raw. It's raw.
She insisted it was all for a Vietnamese restaurant, but the officers weren't buying it. After running tests, they confirmed she was clean when it came to drugs, but by then, the fish had already been seized, leaving her plans in complete limbo. The woman was stuck, and her luxurious trip had just hit a major snag.
Yep. Okay, so because of the live infestation.
Earthquakes are terrifying no matter where they strike, but when one hits an airport packed with travelers, heavy equipment, and towering structures, the stakes get even higher. The violent shaking sends people into panic as emergency alarms blare and the entire terminal plunges into darkness. The power knocked out by the tremors. Screams echo through the building as passengers and staff realize there's nowhere to run. With the ground rumbling beneath them, many can only drop to their knees, cover their heads, and pray that the shaking stops before something collapses. Airports are designed to withstand disasters, but when nature strikes, anything can happen. Hopefully everyone inside made it out safe and unharmed after this nightmare scenario. It started like any other routine luggage scan at SeaTac Airport, but agents soon stumbled upon something completely unexpected. Buried deep inside a suitcase was a battered cardboard box that didn't seem to belong. When they opened it, they found nearly 3 dozen intricately carved figurines, daggers, and tusks, pieces that looked like they belonged in a museum, not someone's luggage. But these weren't just fancy trinkets, they were made of ivory, and that's illegal to bring into the US. The agent's suspicions had been raised when the couple claimed they were just bringing back pickled mango from the Philippines, a claim that seemed too simple to be true. A quick X-ray scan revealed a whole different story. When they cracked open the box, the officers found ivory carvings made from elephant, hippopotamus, and warthog tusks, worth a staggering $25,000 on the black market. It was the largest ivory bust SeaTac had seen in years, but in the end, the couple's travels took a hit. They were hit with a $500 fine, leaving them with a hefty price to pay for their smuggling attempt. Our main character in this wild airport saga, TikTok user Stefan. Stefan insists he legitimately paid for his Hertz rental car, but finds himself accused and mistreated by a supposed manager at the airport location.
I'm gonna get the rental receipt.
The car is reported stolen and you have the keys.
It's not because it's in Florida. The car is in Florida. That's fine. That's fine. You didn't do your job. You didn't do your job. You didn't do your job.
Give me the keys back. No?
I have the rental receipt. I have the rental receipt. I have the rental receipt. I have the rental receipt for you. I have the rental receipt.
Get the out of here.
Yep.
You piece of shit.
Yep.
Get out of here.
Oh yeah, the
Give
Hertz.
me the keys or get out
Hertz
of
to
here.
the airport. This is your manager.
Give me the keys or get out of here.
And you at me? And you swung at me?
Get out of here.
And you swung at me?
Give me the keys.
That's assault. That's assault. That's assault.
You stole my
That's assault.
property.
That's assault. That's assault. That's
Get out of
assault.
here now.
That's assault. That's assault. What's your name?
I'm not
What's your
giving
name?
you money. Get the out of here. Get out of here now.
Yep. You're fired, sir.
Get out of here.
You're gonna get fired, sir.
Shit.
You're gonna get fired.
Get out of here
Hertz,
now.
Harrisburg Airport. That's your guy.
Get out of here.
That's your guy. That's your
You
guy.
got the keys, give them to me.
That's your guy. Hertz Airport. That's your guy.
Dog,
That's your guy. That's your
Don't
guy.
be surprised when you get arrested.
Uh-huh. Hertz, that's your guy.
Frustrated but determined, he retrieves his paperwork, solid proof of his reservation, and returns to set the record straight. But things don't go as planned.
So, here you are. Here's the receipt. You can look up the information.
Okay, good. Now I have your information.
Can you make a copy, please, for yourself, for your records?
No.
Make a copy for your records.
You have the keys to a stolen car. You have the keys to a stolen car.
Make a receipt, please.
No, I'm not doing
Can you make a
anything
copy?
for you.
Can you make a
I'm
copy?
not doing anything for you.
You don't
until
have
give
to.
me those keys.
Listen, we
Are
can
you gonna give me the keys.
contact
to
the cops like you said.
Are
Go
you
ahead.
gonna give me the keys to the car?
Let's contact the cops like you said. Come on. Let's do it. Because you swung at me. So now you about to get arrested for simple assault.
Let's make it happen.
You about to get arrested for simple assault.
You're gonna get arrested for stealing a car.
Okay, we're gonna see. Call him up.
I'll be right back.
Do that, please. Please and thank you. Oh yeah, keep cussing.
You stole a car.
This is fantastic customer service.
You're not even a customer.
Uh-huh. But you got the receipt in your hand. But you have the receipt in your hand.
In a follow-up video, Stefan reveals that police were called to the scene. Hoping for justice, he shows them the footage of the confrontation and requests to press charges for assault. The response? It's not that serious. Just let it go. Then, the final twist, the guy Stefan was arguing with wasn't even the manager, just a regular desk attendant playing power games. In the end, Stefan was completely in the right. He had paid for the rental, wasn't a thief, and after all the chaos, everyone just went their separate ways. What started as a quiet, uneventful night at the airport quickly turned into a scene straight out of an action movie. Airport staff were going about their usual routines when, out of nowhere, chaos erupted. A drunk driver, completely out of control, barrels through the airport barriers, smashing through obstacles. The security and staff race after him in a desperate attempt to stop the madness. The vehicle swerves wildly, leaving a path of destruction behind it while alarms blare throughout the terminal. Crashing into an airport isn't just reckless, it's a major security threat. The consequences? Arrest, heavy fines, and serious criminal charges for breaching a high-security area. After a long chase, the driver's reckless joyride finally comes to an end as authorities take him down. Safe to say, this is one flight he won't be catching anytime soon. On October 7, 2023, Hyderabad's customs officers made a jaw-dropping discovery that no one saw coming. 2 passengers arriving from Dubai were flagged for a closer inspection based on profiling, and what they uncovered was nothing short of astonishing. They found gold, but not in the usual form you'd expect. Instead of bars or coins, the smugglers had cleverly hidden 454 grams of powdered gold inside packets of detergent, flour, and notes. Everyday items that no one would think twice about. The gold, worth an eye-popping 2.664 crore rupees, was seized right then and there. The method was as crafty as it was daring, mixing gold with mundane products to throw off any suspicion. It just goes to show the lengths smugglers will go to. The discovery was as unexpected as it was valuable, proving once again the sharp vigilance and quick thinking of customs officers who were always on the lookout for the cleverest tricks. What started as a typical day at the airport quickly took a wild turn when a man completely lost it over a missing passport. Frustration quickly boiled over as he lashed out, throwing a full-blown tantrum in the middle of the terminal. Security stepped in trying to de-escalate the situation, but he wasn't having it. Instead of calming down, he went on a rampage, smashing anything in reach and making an already bad day worse for everyone around him. With tensions rising and passengers backing away in shock, security had no choice but to step in, forcefully. Within seconds, the man was pinned to the ground, his outburst brought to an abrupt end. Hopefully, no one was injured during this chaotic meltdown, but one thing's for sure, this guy won't be flying anytime soon. At first glance, the children's candy looked harmless enough, nothing to raise any suspicions, but as the customs officer peered closer, he couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. What could these candies really be hiding? He opened one of the candy packs, letting the contents spill out. At first, it seemed like nothing more than candy wrappers, but that wasn't the end of the story. The officer carefully ripped open the cardboard packaging, handing a piece over to his colleague. That's when they realized something was tucked away inside. As they pried the cardboard apart, the truth came to light. Thin sheets of pure refined gold, carefully concealed within the packaging. Whoever had hidden it knew exactly what they were doing. The officers added the gold to the growing pile of discoveries they had already made. Amazed at the ingenuity behind this smuggling attempt, what looked like a simple candy pack had turned out to be hiding a small fortune. This next clip starts off pretty normal, passengers boarding, finding their seats, and settling in for the flight. But then just as things seem calm, a drunk guy instantly shatters the peace in the cabin. If you ever seen a drunk passenger on a flight before, you probably know where this is headed.
You have a bag here? Oh.
Slurred words, loud rambling, and a complete lack of personal space. Yeah, it's not a good look at 30,000 feet. Airlines don't play around when it comes to intoxicated passengers, and if you're too far gone, they have every right to deny you entry, or even kick you off mid-boarding. After some heated back and forth with the crew, security steps in and escorts him right back off the plane. Safe to say, everyone on board breathed a sigh of relief and maybe even enjoyed the irony of watching someone get grounded before takeoff. On August 5th, 2023, Hyderabad Customs got a tip-off that set off alarms. They were on the trail of something big, and their target was an Indian traveler returning from Dubai. Suspicion grew as the officers closed in on him, and what they uncovered was nothing short of shocking. Nearly 1,924 grams of gold paste hidden inside his underwear, worth a staggering 1 crore 18 lakh rupees. The smuggler's desperate attempt to conceal the gold made it even more intriguing. It was clear that he had gone to extreme lengths to hide the precious metal. As the customs team celebrated cracking yet another smuggling attempt, a host of questions lingered. Who else was involved in this operation? How had they managed to get this gold paste past security undetected? The plot thickened as the authorities dug deeper, uncovering a daring smuggling operation that seemed to have more layers than anyone could have imagined. The mystery was far from over, and the investigation was just getting started. Normally, air travel follows a simple routine: book your ticket, board your flight, and land at your destination without a hitch. But thanks to one unruly passenger who couldn't keep his cool, his flight took a detour into chaos before it even left the ground.
You started it. Just remember that. Dude. Hey! Now! You got it?
It all starts when this guy picks a fight with another passenger, instantly turning the cabin into a battleground. As tensions rise, the rest of the passengers sit there annoyed but unsurprised, because they all know how this usually ends: delays, cancellations, and a whole lot of frustration.
You got it? Put your hands down and don't touch anybody! Put your hands down and don't touch anybody!
After some back and forth and probably a few choice words from the crew, security steps in and hauls the guy off the plane, and just like that, order is restored. At first, the officer thought it was just another routine check, but something about this baggage felt off. The Dubai customs officer had weighed the box and immediately knew something wasn't right. Whatever was inside was clearly too heavy for what it appeared to be. Upon closer inspection, the officer realized the package was disguised as an Apple device box, likely an attempt to throw off the inspection. With a bit of caution, the officer opened it, and what he found was far from what he expected. Inside the box was a significant amount of cocaine, cleverly hidden beneath the packaging.
Nobody touch any bag, okay?
Not stopping there, the officer checked a second phone case, and to his shock, it was hiding a similar stash of drugs. It was clear that someone had gone to great lengths to smuggle in these illicit items, but the officer's keen eye had caught the trick before it could slip through. It was a chilling moment when customs officers noticed something moving inside a piece of luggage that was about to pass through security. The bag belonged to a young man, and as it went through the scanner, something didn't sit right. The customs officer could sense something was off and decided to pull it aside for a closer inspection. Unzipping the bag, he immediately spotted 2 red bags inside, suspicious enough on their own. But when something inside one of the bags shifted, the officer's instincts kicked in. With a sense of urgency, he opened it up and peeled back the covering. What he found was nothing short of shocking. Inside were 13 rare bobtail lizards, tightly packed and hidden away in an attempt to smuggle them out of Perth. The lizards, clearly uncomfortable and struggling, had been carefully concealed, but the officer's sharp eye caught the movement just in time. It was a dangerous and illegal smuggling attempt that had been thwarted, thanks to some quick thinking.
Your girls. I'm good, Chef. Remember your girls. I'm good, Chef. You don't care about the girls? You don't care about the girls. You don't care about the girls. Just hush. You don't care about the girls.
Another airport, another meltdown. This guy was on a mission determined to make sure everyone in the building knew about his nightmare with American Airlines. His partner desperately tried to calm him down, reminding him to think about the girls, but the need to vent was just too strong.
Everybody, Justin! American Airlines is over. Start. Here we go. Justin, here. I'm not kidding. You don't care about the girls? So I want to tell you about Shelby and Dolly. Shelby and Dolly. Shelby and Dolly. Remember them. I'm going to do it for you. Shelby and Dolly. That's it. Shelby and Dolly. Remember. Remember them. Shelby and Dolly. Remember them.
For a brief moment, it looked like he might actually cool off, until a fellow passenger politely asked him to step aside. Big mistake. Just like that, he snapped right back into full-blown rage mode, proving this meltdown was far from over. What started as a routine landing quickly took a surprising turn. Imagine stepping off a flight from Colombo, thinking you're just another passenger blending in with a crowd, but then out of nowhere, AIU officers start to close in on one particular lady. What did they know that the rest of us didn't? With a watchful eye, the officers begin searching her belongings and the tension starts to build. They start with her slippers, and that's when the real discovery happens. Hidden beneath the soles were 14 meticulously concealed pieces of gold. As the officers carefully uncovered each piece, it gleamed in the light, each bit adding up to a total of 393 grams. But this wasn't just any gold. The stash was worth a staggering 1,884,000 rupees, or about $22,683.36. The officers didn't hesitate. They seized it on the spot, marking another successful bust under the Customs Act in 1962. What seemed like a simple arrival turned into masterstroke, a smuggling detection. On November 1st, 2021, what was supposed to be a quick domestic flight turned into a nightmare for travelers when the plane had to turn back shortly after takeoff due to bad weather. Among the stranded passengers was a couple traveling with their 5-month-old baby, and after 7 grueling hours at the airport with no food or water, frustration finally boiled over. Some might call their reaction immature or over the top, but anyone who's ever been stuck in an airport with a hungry, exhausted infant knows that patience only lasts so long. Pushed to his breaking point, the father finally snaps and takes action, and that's when things really escalate. Thankfully, after the incident, the airline stepped up, offering accommodations and long overdue answers to the stranded passengers. The passengers had just passed through the scanner when the officers noticed something that immediately set off alarm bells. One woman arriving from Africa seemed to have something strange hidden on her body, something that didn't quite sit right.
Gives Hassan a clue to what it might be. I suspect it's smuggling diamonds, because we have many cases.
The shadows caught by the scanner gave the officer a strong hunch about what was going on. They decided to bring her in for further questioning, and she didn't put up any resistance. In fact, she cooperated fully, agreeing to go into the women's bathroom to remove whatever she was hiding.
Lovely stones, but it is really diamond. It's been not cut and polished. He's right.
There, she handed over 5 mysterious packs, which were promptly presented to the officer in charge. As he carefully cut open the first pack, his eyes widened in disbelief. Inside were rough, unrefined diamonds. It was clear what was happening. She was attempting to smuggle these valuable gems into the country without any proper documentation, a serious crime. What seemed like an innocent pass through security had quickly turned into a major bust, with the woman caught red-handed in a desperate attempt to smuggle diamonds under the radar. Atlanta airport workers got more than they bargained for when 27-year-old Jennifer Holder turned a fire extinguisher into her personal weapon of choice. It all started when she allegedly dined and dashed at Buffalo Wild Wings. When an airport employee confronted her about the unpaid tab, she didn't argue. She sprayed him down with a fire extinguisher.
She's a terrorist. Oh my God! This bitch crazy! Oh my God!
But she wasn't done. Holder then made a run for a restricted security door, and when police officers tried to stop her, she let loose again, blasting them in the face with the extinguisher. Not content with just chemical warfare, she spit and kicked at the officers for good measure.
Stop resisting.
She was quickly taken into custody, facing charges for obstructing law enforcement, 2 counts of simple assault, and 3 counts of simple battery. Not exactly the grand exit she was hoping for. It took some serious effort to uncover what was hidden, but once the officer finally got his hands on it, he knew this was just the tip of the iceberg. He had confiscated a seemingly innocent package, but something didn't sit right. His gut told him there was more to this than met the eye. With a trained eye, he spotted a mysterious casing tucked away inside the package. He expertly worked his way through the locking mechanism, as if he had done this countless times before. When the casing finally opened, he pulled out another package, this one carefully concealed and much more suspicious. Inside, he found a sizable stash of raw gold, neatly hidden away in a way that suggested it was meant to be smuggled into the country, likely using a diplomatic bag. It was a daring move, and had it gone unnoticed, the gold would have slipped through the cracks, but the officer's sharp instincts had caught it, preventing what could have been a major smuggling operation. As adults, we're expected to keep our cool in public no matter how frustrated or angry we get. After all, we're supposed to set an example for younger generations. But every now and then, someone comes along who seems to have missed that memo, like this guy. In the clip, a man can be seen threatening an elderly passenger who is simply trying to de-escalate the situation. Despite the older man's calm demeanor and complete lack of retaliation, the aggressor refuses to back down, continuing to intimidate him in increasingly disturbing ways. Making threats in an airport isn't just reckless, it can lead to arrest, hefty fines, and even jail time. Not to mention, it disrupts airport operations and puts security on high alert. Unfortunately, the video cuts off before we see how it all ends, leaving us wondering, did anyone step in, or did things get even worse? In this next clip, a group of tourists eagerly lines up behind the runway, all set to experience the powerful blast of air from a plane taking off. They wait in anticipation, probably thinking it'll be a thrilling once-in-a-lifetime experience, but the moment the engines roar to life, they instantly regret their decision. Jet engines generate an insane amount of thrust, ranging from tens of thousands to over 100,000 pounds of force, depending on the aircraft. That kind of power isn't something to mess around with, and these tourists learned that the hard way. As the plane accelerates, the force of the jet blast sends them flying, knocking them off their feet like rag dolls. Watching them get swept away is both hilarious and terrifying, and a reminder that some things are best left to common sense, if only they had any. This next encounter starts mid-flight with a passenger shouting and causing a scene, completely disrupting the cabin's peace. The flight attendants do their best to calm him down using every de-escalation tactic they can think of, but nothing works.
Where are they diverting us? Because wherever it is, there's got to be a bloodbath everywhere. You can run away. You can all run away if you want. life. And then you can run. I won't kill you.
Instead of settling down, the man doubles down in his tantrum, yelling at both the crew and his fellow passengers. Most people just try to ignore him, probably hoping he'll tire himself out, but being ignored only fuels his outburst. Then, in a shocking turn, he takes things way too far, threatening to take over the plane. That's when things get serious.
I'm not taking over this plane.
Dude, I'm telling you right now. I'm telling you right now. Yeah, you can't get by that.
Making a hijacking threat isn't just reckless, it's a one-way ticket to a lifetime of legal trouble. We're talking immediate arrest, major criminal charges, massive fines, and a lengthy prison sentence. According to reports, his outburst didn't end well for him. He was arrested the moment the plane landed. Airports are prime locations for protests. They're high traffic, highly visible, and almost guaranteed to draw media attention. But they're also heavily guarded, meaning things can escalate fast, just like in this video. What starts as a demonstration with a message quickly spirals out of control when protesters refuse to comply with police orders. Tensions rise, voices get louder, and before anyone can blink, the scene erupts into chaos. A peaceful protest turns into a violent clash, with both sides pushing, shoving, and struggling for control. The situation gets so out of hand that it becomes impossible to trace where the chaos even started. In a matter of moments, the airport is a scene of absolute mayhem. A terrifying stampede of bodies, security alarms blaring, and panic setting in. Protesting at an airport doesn't just risk fines or travel bans, it can lead to arrests, criminal charges, and serious legal consequences. And in this case, it also led to injuries, filtered chaos. Forget snakes on a plane, this is drunks on a plane, and it's just as chaotic. Meet our main character, a guy who thought chugging nearly an entire bottle of alcohol just 30 minutes before takeoff was a solid plan. At first, he managed to keep it together. Well, mostly. A few travelers caught glimpses of him stumbling around the terminal, barely able to stay upright in his seat and wobbling through the aisles like a human turbulence warning.
Hey, buddy. What's up?
Niggas talking shit.
Who is? Okay. Can you come over here and talk to me?
Yeah.
All right.
She knows.
Okay. Come over here.
Come on.
What's your name?
Jeremy, bro. Senior, too.
Are you flying out?
Yeah.
Okay.
Come on, keep up.
Jeremy,
keep up,
Jeremy,
keep up,
I'm not keeping up, buddy.
I'm not playing, bro.
Come over here.
I'm not playing with nothing. I'm not playing with nothing, bro. I'm not playing with shit,
Jeremy,
bro.
Jeremy, come sit down and talk to me.
Oh, now we're sitting? Or are we sitting?
Yeah, sit right here.
Are we going to sit or are we going to sit?
I'm not going to sit. Come sit down.
If you're not going to sit, I'm not going to sit.
Okay. Do you have your ID on you?
No, walk
you
me
have
to
a bag
the plane.
or
Walk
anything?
me to the plane. I'm supposed to be getting on. Actually, no.
Hang on. What's up? Tell me what's up.
I have to get on this plane.
Okay.
But then things took a turn. Out of nowhere, he erupted, screaming, yelling, and getting downright belligerent with fellow passengers. The scene turned into a full-blown spectacle, and it wasn't long before airport officers stepped in to shut it down. Want to see how his drunken adventure ended? Watch as chaos meets consequences.
His sibling dropped him off.
150 on 10-4.
Came, checked him in with me. Never told me he had any type of ailments, nothing.
It's a whole bunch of miscommunication type shit. So, like, the reason why he's here is because of a whole different incident. Okay. And I'm the guy, like, nah, you feel me? Nah, that. I'm trying to go. Where'd you go? I have Seattle. I only have one destination. Okay. I came out here for a football tournament, didn't go that way, so now I want to go home. Nothing. You can check.
I just did, man.
Nothing.
Right.
So why?
Because they said you were causing a scene, man.
Can you grab your ID out of there, out of your wallet, out of here for me? Sit down. It's right here.
Stand up, bro.
Sit down, buddy.
I'm a grown ass man.
Jeremy. Chill out, buddy. Chill out.
I'm not doing anything.
Okay, I'm asking you to sit down.
And I'm not sitting down. Is that a problem?
It is.
Problem?
It is, yeah.
No.
No,
you're gonna sit here and you're gonna watch me grab my wallet.
Jeremy,
Sit down right now.
I'm not sitting
Sit
down, bro. No.
Sit down.
I didn't
Sit
do
down.
it.
Sit down.
What did I do, bro?
Sit down.
What did I do?
You're being a pain in the ass. Sit
No,
down.
I'm not.
Okay? Sit down.
No, I'm not.
Jeremy, sit down right now. Jeremy?
I didn't do anything.
I'm trying to help you out.
Listen,
man.
listen.
I'm trying
You
to help
listen
out.
to me. I didn't. You listen to me.
You want to hand it?
What did I do? What did I do?
Sit down because
You want to end up in handcuffs?
What did I do?
Sit down.
Washington.
The rest of it disorderly, man.
Okay. Also, can you attend that video? None of us got that.
Am I? It's this one. Can I put it back?
What was the number?
Look at me, bro.
Hey.
Real shit.
No, I'm
like
looking
I'm
at
talking
somebody
to-
else right now. I need to look at you. I need you to relax until we figure out what's going on.
What the are you looking at right now? You're looking at nobody, bro. Looking at nobody, bro. What are you talking about? Can you talk to me like a real motherfucker? Like,
tell me what happened today.
Listen up. So you've been denied boarding, so now you're trespassing this airport. So you're going to leave this air site right now. If you stay here, you're going to be arrested for trespassing. Do you understand?
so how do I get back home to Washington?
I don't know, but you're going to leave the air site right now.
So how do I get back home to Washington?
Go, Jeremy. Grab your.
Is this your stuff?
Listen, we'll explain that on the... Okay, let's take a walk.
Can you grab me?
Come on.
No, grab your stuff. Let's go.
I grab my own stuff?
Yep.
We're going to explain to you how to get back to Washington. Come on.
Grab that and this. It's not a game. You're either going to laugh and pick up your stuff and leave right now.
Jeremy.
Shut up, bro. Don't touch me, bro. I did the same thing. Let me go.
Hang on. Easy.
Put your hand behind his back.
Get him off me.
You're done.
Right now. Get him off me. I ain't shit. Why is he on me still? Why are you on me still? Why are you on me still? Why are you on me still?
Keep your face away from
me
me.
still. Why are you on me still? Why are you on me still? Why are you on me still?
your face away
Get the
from
fuck
mine.
off me, bro. Get off me.
I got his stuff. I got his stuff.
No, I'm not. Now you're talking. Now you're talking. Now you're talking shit. No, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. Hey, I want a different officer. I want you. I want you.
Bobby.
Tell him to let me go. Tell me to let him go.
A diaper and bullets sounds like an odd pairing, right? But when the officers discovered them hidden together, it was enough to make anyone stop in their tracks.
Officers at LaGuardia Airport in New York found 17 bullets hidden inside a disposable diaper. The Arkansas man carrying the otherwise clean diaper.
During a routine bag search, they came across a clean disposable diaper, nothing unusual at first, but when they checked it, they found several 9mm bullets carefully tucked inside. The man immediately denied packing the bullets himself, quickly shifting the blame onto his girlfriend, claiming she had put them in his bag without him knowing, but the officers weren't buying it. They charged him with unlawful possession of ammunition, and just like that, what started as a routine check turned into a serious legal matter. Thanks to cutting-edge technology, rigorous safety standards, and top-tier pilot training, air travel has never been safer. But let's be real, no form of travel is completely risk-free, and this horrifying video is proof of that. During a Japan Airlines flight, a catastrophic mid-air collision sent the plane engulfed in flames while still 1,000 feet above the ground. The sheer terror of being trapped inside a burning aircraft thousands of feet in the air is unimaginable. In moments like this, survival depends on staying calm, listening to crew instructions, and getting out as fast as possible. Brace for impact, locate the nearest exit, and evacuate swiftly but orderly. Miraculously, despite the horrifying inferno, every single passenger on board survived, completely unharmed. Customs officer at Hyderabad Airport received a tip-off about a suspicious passenger arriving on flight EK528 from Dubai. What they uncovered was nothing short of astonishing. As the man's luggage went through the inspection, they found an air compressor, seemingly ordinary at first glance, but something felt off. After taking a closer look, they discovered a silver-coated cylindrical block hidden inside the compressor. As they carefully opened it, the gleam of 24-karat gold started to shine through. The officers were stunned as they realized what they had uncovered: nearly 5 kilograms of gold, worth over 2.5 crore rupees, skillfully concealed in an everyday object. this cunning attempt to smuggle gold into the country was thwarted, thanks to the sharp eyes of Hyderabad's customs officers. It was yet another reminder how smugglers are constantly coming up with increasingly clever methods to hide their treasures, but vigilance and expertise always have the upper hand. A heart-stopping video captures the moment a powerful earthquake rocks an airport in Alaska. Alarms blare, the ground trembles, and sheer panic spreads through the terminal as passengers cling to whatever they can for stability. Security personnel rush to control the chaos, guiding people to safety while the shaking threatens to turn the airport into rubble. Earthquakes can wreak havoc in airport infrastructure, cracking runways, damaging terminals, and grounding flights for hours or even days. Thankfully, modern airports are built with seismic protections, and emergency protocols kick in fast to ensure passenger safety. As the video fades out, the once bustling airport is now eerily empty, a sign that despite the destruction, everyone made it out safely. They say money makes the world go round, but in this case, it was the reason the world came to a screeching halt. The customs officers never saw this coming. They stopped a passenger traveling with his family, feeling something was off. Maybe it was just a gut feeling, but they suspected he might be up to something. When they searched his bags, they didn't expect to find what they did. Inside, they discovered stacks of dollar bills. After counting it all, it added up to a whopping $15,000 in cash. He was trying to smuggle this large sum from Thailand to Bangladesh, avoiding the proper channels and without a necessary declaration. It was a bold move, but the officers were sharp, catching him before his plan could go unnoticed. The money may have been meant to make things smoother for him, but in the end, it was what led to his downfall. The officers weren't ready to give up just yet. They kept digging through the luggage, determined to uncover whatever was hidden inside. What could it be?
He has no money, will be staying in Britain for 2 months, and a friend has agreed to pay all his expenses. It's a story Mike has heard many times before from drug couriers.
The customs officer had already noticed something off about one of the bags under the x-ray, and his gut told him there was a smuggling operation at play. The suspect, however, wasn't making things easy. He claimed he had no money, insisting that his friend had been supporting him, but the officers weren't swayed. They pushed forward, carefully peeling back the inner lining of the luggage. What they found next was carefully concealed and sealed deep within the casing of the bag.
So I've conducted a test on the bottom of your suitcase, which has shown a white paste. A white paste. Yep, I've conducted a test on it which says it's cocaine.
As the officer dug further, he spotted a white substance, one that immediately raised suspicion. His instincts told him it was cocaine, and a quick test confirmed it. With the evidence in hand, the man was arrested on the spot for smuggling. A terrifying scene unfolds as an anti-Semitic mob storms into an airport, leaving destruction in its wake. The violent group shoves past security, forcing open restricted areas in a frantic search for Jewish passengers. Airport staff, visibly shaken, plead with them to stop, insisting there is no one to be found, but their words fall on deaf ears. As the chaos spills onto the runways, the mob turns its attention to planes still on the ground. Pilots, realizing the danger, urgently warn passengers to stay put and keep all doors locked. Their voices tense over the intercom. Meanwhile, airport operations come to a screeching halt, with flights grounded and travelers trapped in a nightmare of fear and uncertainty. The intensity builds until police finally arrive, clashing with rioters and making arrests. But the damage has been done, a shocking display of hatred that left an entire airport shaken to its core. For 12 long days, the NDI operated like a quiet shadow, carefully piecing together the smallest clues at Murtala Muhammad International Airport. Their patience and determination were unwavering, and in the end, it all paid off in a big way. They uncovered and seized the largest heroin shipment ever intercepted, a massive blow to the syndicate. But that wasn't where the story ended. The operation unearthed 107 bank accounts and millions in frozen assets, striking a heavy blow to the cartel's financial network. As the investigation deepened, the trail led them to luxurious mansions, one in Nigeria, the other in Mozambique, both tied to powerful cartel leaders. These grand estates, once symbols of untouchable wealth, now stood on the brink of government seizure. The syndicate's empire was beginning to crumble, and the NDLEA had only just scratched the surface. What started as a quiet mission had turned into a full-scale takedown, and the authorities were far from done. Imagine being stuck at the airport for hours, but finally you're in your seat ready for takeoff. You pull out your phone to record that exciting moment when the plane lifts off, only to capture something terrifying instead. A heavy snowstorm blankets the runway, turning into a slippery, ice-covered hazard. As the plane accelerates, the wheels struggle for grip, and the aircraft skids dangerously. Snow piles obscure runway markings and lights, making it even harder for the pilots to navigate safely. For a few heart-stopping moments, it feels like everything could go horribly wrong. Luckily, the pilots managed to keep control, and despite the nerve-wracking slip, disaster is avoided. No one was hurt, but for everyone on board, this was a takeoff they'd never forget. Between March 20 and 22, 2024, Mumbai's airport commissioner stumbled upon a discovery straight out of a crime thriller. What started as a routine customs check quickly turned into a high-stakes treasure hunt as officers uncovered smuggled goods in the most unexpected places. Cash stashed in check-in bags, diamonds tucked into hand luggage, gold sewn into clothing, and for the boldest of smugglers, some valuables were even hidden inside their bodies. By the time the dust settled, customs had seized a jaw-dropping haul. Foreign currency worth 5.36 crore rupees, diamonds valued at 3.75 crore rupees, and gold totaling 1.49 crore rupees. Altogether, a staggering 10.60 crore rupees in illicit goods had been uncovered, proving that some people will go to any lengths to smuggle their fortunes through the airport. What started as just another routine day at Clark National Airport in the Philippines quickly turned into sheer devastation when a massive earthquake struck without warning. The ground rumbled violently, sending passengers and staff into a panic as the airport shook beneath their feet. People scrambled for safety, some rushing towards exits, while others froze in fear, bracing themselves against whatever they could hold on to. The intensity of the moment made it impossible to stay calm. As alarms blared and structures groaned under the unforgiving force of the quake, multiple security cameras captured the chaos from different angles, showing the full scope of destruction unfolding across the airport. Glass shattered, ceiling panels collapsed, and the building trembled under the sheer power of the 6.1 magnitude quake, a force that spared no mercy. Something creepy was crawling through Chennai Airport, literally. Customs officers at the foreign post office received a package from Poland, and when they cracked it open, they were met with a sight straight out of a horror movie. Inside were 107 live tarantulas, carefully packed and very much alive. But these weren't just any spiders, these were rare species protected under CITES, an international agreement that safeguards endangered plants and animals from illegal trade. You can picture the scene, officers staring into a box teeming with tarantulas, their long legs twitching, their bodies shifting. One question loomed large. Who was behind this daring smuggling attempt, and why were these exotic spiders being shipped into the country? Whatever the reason, authorities wasted no time seizing them under the Customs Act, shutting down this 8-legged operation before it could go any further. In the heart of Zambia, a mystery was unraveling at Kenneth Kaunda International Airport, one that left even the most seasoned officers stunned. Stacks of boxes piled high, whispered rumors drifting through the terminal. All night, officials counted and recounted, their eyes widened with every new total. The numbers just didn't seem real. By the time dawn broke, the shocking truth was clear. Over $25 million had been seized. But the biggest question remained, where did it come from and who was behind it? The airport buzzed with speculation. Was it part of a massive smuggling operation, a political scandal, something even more sinister? Yet despite the mounting anticipation, the investigation led to nothing. No names, no leads, no one stepped forward to claim responsibility, and just like that, the trail went cold, leaving behind only questions and a fortune with no owner. Protests usually involve peaceful demonstration, marches, rallies, petitions, or sit-ins, and in today's world, social media campaigns and letters to officials are just as common. But every now and then, someone decides to take a more extreme and disruptive approach, and that's exactly what happened in this bizarre incident. Instead of standing with a sign or chanting in a crowd, one protester thought it would be a great idea to climb on top of an airplane. Yes, you heard that right. She scaled the aircraft, bringing the entire operation to a standstill and leaving passengers, staff, and authorities frustrated beyond belief. Despite multiple warnings, she refused to move, forcing authorities to step in and physically remove her, much like a toddler throwing a tantrum in the middle of a mall, disrupting everyone around her. Protesting for a cause is important, but there's a right way to do it, and this definitely wasn't it. She looked like the sweet old lady next door, the kind who might offer you cookies or chat about the weather, but appearances can be deceiving.
You want to keep your tobacco, but Nikki suspects she's carrying it as part of an organised backy bus.
Some of these are for some of your family?
Yeah.
Okay. And how much money have they given you towards their contribution?
Pulled aside by a customs officer, she watches as they rummage through her luggage. Inside, several packs of what look like tea leaves. The officer raises an eyebrow and asks who they're for. My family, she replies, her voice steady. Then comes the next question. Are there any drugs in the packages? She doesn't flinch. No, she says.
It's over. We're not doing no drugs or nothing, you know what I mean? You should be looking after waste you know, I'm not a criminal, but you should be looking more to criminals, shouldn't we?
Thank you. Passport's back. She has been stopped by customs before, even though she claims that she hadn't. I was not happy in my own mind to let her proceed with the goods.
But when the officer offers her the chance for an interview, she makes a choice that sets off alarm bells. She refuses and abandons the package entirely. No argument, no hesitation, just walk away. With her visa returned, she leaves, but her neatly packed tea doesn't go with her. The officers confiscate it, and one thing is crystal clear. Whatever's inside, it must be worth leaving behind. What started as a quiet, uneventful day at the airport terminal quickly turned into a full-blown spectacle when a woman lost her mind after missing her flight.
Seriously! Call people to church right now! The head of the TSA! Call that mother right now! Get me!
She screamed at the top of her lungs, berating airline employees and demanding they put her on the next flight for free. Bystanders naturally whipped out their phones, recording the chaotic meltdown as it unfolded. Now we all know airport service isn't always the best, but losing your cool like this? Definitely not the way to go. A little patience and a calm demeanor could have made all the difference.
Next flight! Get me up on the next mother flight! Seriously!
But here's the kicker. After all that yelling, all that outrage, she finds out she was in the wrong terminal the whole time. The sheer second-hand embarrassment from this moment, off the charts.
No, we're WestJet.
This is WestJet, not Delta.
I think you need to go over there.
Oh, you're the wrong terminal?
The stench hit the customs officer before they even laid eyes on the nightmare lurking inside the luggage. It was the kind of smell that turned stomachs, a rancid wave that warned something was very, very wrong.
Inside the man's suitcase is a small cool box.
Le he preguntado y me ha dicho que trae aquí mercancía congelada.
It all started when a passenger was stopped for carrying an unusual amount of luggage, much of it still unchecked. As the officer unzipped one of the bags, they pulled out a mini cooler, prompting the traveler to explain, "It's just frozen food." But the moment the lid popped open, the truth and the smell came spilling out. Sealed plastic bags filled with meat and vegetables, but instead of fresh ingredients, the officer was met with rotting flesh. The stench was unbearable.
Me está dando un asco tremendo. No hay gusano. ¿Que no? ¿Y esto qué es? Es imposible, hay gusano. No, esa parte de... ¿Esto qué es, caballero? ¿Esto no es un gusano?
Digging further, they unearthed even more bags of frozen fish. While dried fish is allowed in Barcelona, frozen fish is a big no-no due to the risk of contamination. And in this case, that risk had already turned into a full-blown disaster. Inside the sealed bags, wriggling among the fish, were maggots, some even managing to crawl out of their plastic prison. The discovery turned the inspection from routine to downright revolting, leaving the officer to deal with the foulest of surprises hidden in plain sight. After his flight gets delayed, one man decides the best way to handle it is to completely lose his mind. Instead of calmly speaking with staff, he goes off the rails, yelling, flailing, and causing an absolute scene. Passengers nearby, they do what people do best in these situations: pull out their phones and start recording. The growing crowd only adds to the chaos, their shocked reactions making it clear that this was way beyond a normal airport meltdown. But just when you think it can't get any worse, it absolutely does. The man in his full-blown tantrum starts stripping down, attempting to take off his clothes as security moves in to contain the situation, and then he reaches into his bag. At that moment, airport security has zero time to waste. They spring into action, tackling and restraining him before things could escalate into something even more dangerous. Thankfully, they get him out of there before anyone gets hurt. But let this be a lesson. Acting out at an airport is a one-way ticket to handcuffs and a permanent spot on the no-fly list. The Australian Border Force thought they were in for a routine check until their canine unit had other plans. A dog handler and his alert sniffer dog zeroed in on a traveler, a woman with her young son. The dog barked, signaling something was off. When questioned, the woman insisted they had nothing to declare, but a scan told a different story.
The dog has smelt something in the bag. We're not sure what it is. So the dog handler has asked me to run it through the x-ray, and I can see organic images on the x-ray.
Something organic was sitting in her bag. When officers unzipped it, their worst suspicions were confirmed. First, bags of contaminated food, crawling with insects. Then, tucked inside a black and white jacket, they found something even more shocking: a rare bird's nest worth over $3,000.
Anything inside here? This item concealed inside the kettle. There is a lot of organic material in there, lots of freshly cooked food items, and I'm a bit concerned as to why.
But the surprises didn't stop there. Digging deeper, they uncovered coral pieces, and in a truly stomach-churning twist, an entire fish infested with maggots. The discovery could have landed the traveler in serious legal trouble, but she and her son got off with a $340 fine, a lucky escape from prosecution.
Consequences can be much more than $340. That could be thousands, even imprisonment. Do you understand?
Yes.
What you did today was very wrong.
But one thing was clear: their innocent luggage was carrying a whole lot more than what they had claimed. What starts as a normal, uneventful day at the airport quickly turns into a scene of confusion and concern. It all begins when a woman is caught on camera sprinting toward an airport cafe, her movements frantic and erratic. Something is clearly off.
Yeah.
Passengers pause mid-sip, turning their heads as security rushes in to assess the situation. At first, they try to reason with her, hoping to de-escalate whatever is going on, but it quickly becomes clear she's either in a severe mental crisis or under the influence of something.
Are you guys okay to see me arrested like this? Where are you
Right now, you're detained, so please place your hands behind your back.
Okay, Mr. Bacon and Mr.
Her wild gestures, incoherent words, and refusal to cooperate make it impossible to calm her down. Even some of the cafe patrons step in, offering help, a seat, even water, but nothing works. She only becomes more agitated, her mental state unraveling by the second. At this point, security has no choice. They move in swiftly, ensuring the safety of everyone around her.
That's exactly what is going to happen. So who's the head honcho here? You tell me. Come on, kiss me.
It's an unsettling sight. Hopefully she got the help she needed, because whatever was going on, she wasn't okay. At first glance, the slippers looked completely ordinary, stylish even, but the real surprise? What was hiding inside? A Mumbai customs officer had a gut feeling about this particular pair of women's slippers. Something just seemed off, so he got to work, carefully dismantling them piece by piece. First, he checked the top, nothing. Then he moved to the back, peeling it apart, and that's when he struck gold, literally.
पकड़ के रखा ना उसको? हाँ, वो लड़की लंबा जाएगी और लड़का भी उसके साथ में था। अच्छा, वो दोनों साथ में ही थे। उसके जूते सर उतरवाए हैं या नहीं उतरवाए? हाँ, देखो उस जाके।
3 solid bars of fine gold were stashed inside. He grabbed the second slipper, same story. In total, 6 gold bars, perfectly hidden, were on their way to being smuggled into the country undetected. But thanks to the officer's sharp instincts, that plan was stopped in its tracks. Something about this passenger just didn't sit right. Maybe it was his height, maybe it was the way he moved, or maybe it was just a gut feeling. But whatever it was, the customs officer knew something was up.
No problem. Yeah, no problem. Cool.
Please open your shoes.
As the man walked through the airport, they couldn't help but notice his strange, stiff stride, like he was trying way too hard to walk normally. That was enough to stop him for a closer look. Take off your shoes, an officer instructed. The man hesitated.
Okay. Okay, then you keep this one here. You keep this.
He grabbed the shoes, turned them over, and bingo, 4 bars of unrefined gold were tucked neatly inside, hidden in the soles. He almost walked away with a fortune. Almost. But that awkward walk, it gave him away. There's a basic unspoken rule book when it comes to flying. Stay seated during takeoff and landing. Respect personal space. Keep the noise down. Follow crew instructions. And just be a decent human being. Sounds simple, right? Well, apparently not for this person.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Oh my God.
Instead of sitting back and letting the flight go smoothly, they decide to turn the airplane cabin into their personal boxing ring, yelling, flailing, full-blown chaos, right in the middle of a packed flight. Now, causing a fight on a plane isn't just annoying, it's a one-way ticket to getting arrested, slapped with hefty fines, potentially facing jail time, maybe even being banned from flying with that airline ever again. We have no idea what they were arguing about, but we seriously hope it was worth it, because we can't imagine anything that justifies turning a peaceful flight into a mid-air circus. Props to the poor passengers who had to sit through that mess. On October 23, 2022, customs officers at the airport stumbled upon something way out of the ordinary. A routine bag check took a shocking turn when officers unzipped a passenger's luggage and found 5 strange furry creatures tucked inside. At first, they had no idea what they were looking at, but upon closer inspection, it became clear these weren't just any animals. They were rare dwarf and common spotted cuscus, smuggled straight from Bangkok. The discovery left everyone stunned. What was the passenger planning to do with these exotic creatures? Sell them? Keep them? Something even worse? As authorities dug deeper, the animals were sent back to Thailand, but the mystery didn't end there. The passenger was taken into custody, leaving airport officials buzzing with speculation. One question hung in the air: what was the real purpose behind this bizarre smuggling attempt? We all know airport service can be a nightmare. Delayed flights, long lines, last-minute gate changes, it's enough to test anyone's patience. But these women, they took frustration to a whole new level. Instead of just sighing in annoyance like the rest of us, they decided to go full rampage mode. Bottles were thrown, airport equipment was smashed, and because that apparently wasn't enough, one of them straight up charged at an airport staff member. Cue absolute chaos. At this point, it's safe to say they won't be catching their flight or any flight anytime soon. Hopefully, they get a few anger management sessions out of this mess because airport stress is real. But this was next level unhinged. Flying is already nerve-wracking for some people. Just the thought of being thousands of feet in the air, add a little turbulence and it's enough to make anyone uneasy. But if that wasn't stressful enough, there's always that one passenger who makes it 100 times worse.
If they have your family hostage, don't believe it. They use fucking emotional manipulation. This is not real.
Cue this woman who decided that screaming, causing chaos, and completely ignoring common sense was the way to go. But beyond the sheer annoyance of her outburst, disruptive behavior on a plane can turn into a serious safety risk. Flight crews aren't just there to serve drinks, they're trained to handle situations like this to keep everyone safe. Thankfully, security and attendants jumped in fast and got the situation under control. Safe to say, this woman's flying privileges might be grounded for a while. Thanks for watching. Stay vigilant, friends.